do the orientation online. That is a very complex course, just as the course you're currently in is. You will need to be very careful with that class. It is a requirement to take 6 hours in that course. So that's one called Cooperative Ed. Some of you have a language requirement on your degree. Some of you have different requirements that are set out on your degree plan that you'll be looking at during this course. Tackle all of these requirements. Put your cooperative education off to the last semester. Complete your core, as we said, and move ahead. That is your BAAS degree. Again, if someone asks you, your degree plan is under occupational education, and your BAAS degree is your major, and the major is Applied Arts and Sciences. Be sure you also know a faculty advisor. By email, personal contact, or whatever, you need to know a faculty advisor when you get out of this course. The draft degree plan, as we mentioned, while your portfolio is being evaluated, you need that draft degree plan. Evaluation results may take as long as 3 months. So when you turn your portfolio in to your person who is your instructor, here's my portfolio. What you're going to deal with then, the instructor is going to say, well, the results will be out in about 3 months. Now, if you receive them earlier, that's fine. But the Occupational Education Office will work diligently to try to get the results out as soon as possible, because that may change your degree plan slightly, as you remember. I can put some courses into the occupational emphasis, and it also allows you to have some advanced courses perhaps in the occupational emphasis. So you want to look at about 3 months in many cases after you turn the portfolio in before we can give you results on your portfolio evaluation. So while you wait for it, be a wise owl here. Work on the course requirements, and if it's the core requirements rather, and if it's completed, go with the professional development. Start working on the professional development. Don't wait around. You know, I've had students that would wait. They would say, oh, I'm waiting for my portfolio results. I say, what are you taking? Well, I just took an elective. I'm waiting for my portfolio results. You're doing exactly what we don't want you to do, is just to take electives after the portfolio. And they had some core. They said, well, I thought the results of the portfolio would get rid of my math or my English. No, no. You need to remember that the portfolio evaluation does not impact the core. It does not reduce the number of core. The hours awarded are in a block, and they affect only the occupational emphasis, and if you needed some electives, we can sometimes shift some to help that. But it goes in the occupational emphasis part of your degree plan. So I've had students that, you know, waited around. They say, oh, I'm still waiting for my portfolio results. So they waste a semester by taking courses they don't need. You want to line up your semesters and watch it very carefully. Keep on task, keep on track. Always know what you're going to take. Now, you will note that many times the class schedule for the next semester come out very early, and you may go on the web and you'll see, wow, what's going on? I now see the web, it already has the class schedule, and some of you say, I didn't realize it was out this earlier, and one of your friends is already registering, and you have missed the registration. Do not register late. Always try to stay up with the registration. You say, oh, but it's going to cost me money. Well, the problem is it does cost. You have to pay at that point. But the problem is if you wait till the late registration, you may miss the class and maybe the professor that you wanted to take. And there are classes and professors that are very much ones that you need to take as an adult. And a lot of times you may miss them because you have registered late. So watch that net. Look at the registrar's site. Also go back and look at the occupational education website as often as possible, because we put messages on there or changes, and they may affect you. So during your wait for portfolio results, bear in mind that there's plenty for you to do. So as we said in review here, portfolio results, an award of credit is not used toward the core. Remember that. or the professional development. Your work award goes into the occupational emphasis of part of your degree plan. That is your pass. Kind of a review there for you to be sure that you understand that we are not removing core requirements because you received a large work award. Please be very careful in dealing with that. There's another issue. Some of you are in this course and you're saying, I'm 23 years old, I have an associate's degree from San Antonio College or Austin Community College or McLennan Junior College or whatever, and you're saying, do I need to apply for work-life credit? Or you may be transferring in with 100 or more hours and you say, do I need to apply for work-life credit? It's a one-time process, people. You've got one chance to apply for work credit. If you're in doubt about applying for credit, it's wise to go ahead and apply. Let's say you were 23 and had 2 years of work experience. And you said, well, you know, 2 years is not much to apply for work-life credit. Well, my feeling is always apply for work-life credit. If you have at least, you know, a few years of credit. You may not get many hours. You may get 6 hours or whatever. But those 6 hours will help you. But the question is that if you are still debating it, don't wait a couple of weeks into this course. Email your instructor and say, I'm still debating about applying for work-life credit. But in general, the best rule of thumb is to apply for work-life credit because you can only do this once. That's what's important. Now, junior, senior credit is good. That's another reason to apply for work-life credit. In the emphasis, we can award some upper-level credits. Upper-level credits are very, very important. And this can assist you to reach your required number of junior and senior credits. So again, when in doubt, apply for work-life credit. Decide to apply. But keep your instructor informed. Don't wait 2 weeks and say, oh, well, I've just been thinking about it, Dr. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, Ms. So-and-so, I've just been thinking about it. Well, you've got to make your decisions fairly well up front. Do I have a solid work history? Do I have some work history along with courses that match? If they do, let's apply for work-life credit. But keep your instructor informed by email. Let your instructor know. I think that's important. What if you don't apply for work-life credit? What if you don't? If you have limited work experience, you've job hopped too much, or you have an associate's degree in a technical or other area, you can contact your instructor and build a portfolio that would be different than the other portfolio. So again, if you decide I'm not going to apply for work-life credit, you're still going to watch these presentations because a lot of what your instructor wants you to do, you'll need these presentations. But remember, you want to make that one-time decision whether or not I need to apply for work credit. If you have too limited of experience or you're very young, have the associate's degree, you have too many hours, you have a question in that way, be sure that you stay in contact with your instructor. And the instructor can tell you what type of portfolio you will build. I want to make a couple of final comments on work credit. Whatever you decide, it's important that you understand the degree plan. The degree plan, again, has no minor. Your major is applied arts and sciences. You need to be sure what you do is your decision. If someone in your class, a relative or somebody says, don't worry about work-life credit, you've got plenty of credits, be sure that you see that in black and white on your draft degree plan. And as we said earlier, it's important to know that upper-level credit can be granted for work-life credit, and it can be placed in the occupational emphasis. And I want to say a couple of words about that work credit. That if I was awarded 12 hours of upper-level credit, that would go toward the upper-level credit requirement that this degree requires, or any degree requires at Texas State. But remember, you can only use work-life credit in this degree, in the BAAS degree. So you can't obtain work credit from us, jump over to another department and say, here I am, I've just acquired 24 hours of work-life credit. Go ahead and give me your degree. No. This work-life credit goes with this degree. So you need to decide if you're applying for work-life credit, as we talked about. Final comments on work credit. Just be sure that you're awake at all times, you know what you're doing, and you stay up with everything. Work it out. Work out your situation. Now, some students are concerned about the overall process of evaluation. How do you know that when I turn that portfolio in, how do I know that the portfolio is going to be okay? You've got to have a 75 on your portfolio from your instructor for it to be rated for work-life credit, a 75. That means you've been in compliance with all the requirements that the instructor has told you to do. And that's the score that you must have to have it turned in to the Occupational Education Office to apply for credit. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get work-life credit. That means it's being turned in for evaluation. But if you score less than a 75 by the instructor's evaluation, you cannot be placed in the cycle for work-life credit. So it's important that you stay up with any course requirements such as homework, etc. Set a schedule. I had one professor that used to set a writing schedule. He would ask his students to create a paper, and in this particular paper, he would have them write down a schedule of when they were going to do certain parts of the portfolio. Excellent idea. And it looked very good because the student knew that she could write these things this week, he could write these things next week, she could write this, he could write that. Each student had the schedule set out. That's a good idea. But you must have a 75 to allow your portfolio to be evaluated. As we indicated before, the process will take several months. You'll be notified by letter or electronically in regard to your results. You'll have a limited time then to change anything on your plan. For instance, you might have chosen a couple of different things, courses, and you put them in your draft plan, you wrote them down, and you turned them into your instructor in this 4350. After you get your results, you change your mind. Say, you know, I think I'm going to go to law school. I'm going to take a couple of political science courses. Or I'm going to do this or that, and you've changed your mind. Well, you will have several weeks to make those changes on the degree plan. You'll go ahead and make those changes. You'll send it back to the Occupational Education Office. And that means that then can be a final change. Now, when that plan is changed, that becomes your contract, but you do not want to wait too long, because when you wait too long to finalize your plan, you're placing your situation in jeopardy, because your work hours are not recorded yet until we receive your information back to you in the draft degree plan. Note, your instructor doesn't know when the portfolios are completed either. Your instructor does not know when the results are out. So if you keep calling your instructor and emailing your instructor isn't going to know. Always figure it's going to be about 3 months after you turn the portfolio in. Now, if 3 months passes, you contact the Occupational Education Office if you've not heard about your portfolio. If you change your address, your physical address, or your email, notify the Occupational Education Office. Ask for the administrative assistant. The reason is we get people who have changed their email and their physical address. We try to send them information and it gets kicked back. So stay in tune with us. That's very important. Now, I want to tell you some general information you need for the course. Let's just think about it. Now we're getting started. We're cranking out this course right now. We're working on it. Well, let's talk about it. It is essential, number one here, to have a Texas State University email address. You need to go to the website for Texas State. Be sure that you have a Texas State email. I would check it every day if I could, because we send out information. You may have classmates sending you information. There could be anything. You need to be sure that you have an email address from Texas State. Now, it doesn't mean you have to get rid of your other internet service providers. No, that's fine. But check your Texas State email address. Very important. Number two, the textbooks are the decision of the instructor. Let's say there's 4 sections of this course being taught. You have to realize that each instructor may choose to use a textbook or not use it. So when you order your textbooks either online or by phone to the bookstore, be sure you look closely at the course syllabus. Did the instructor want a textbook? Or if there's some text that this instructor wants, instructor X does not want them. Be sure you look carefully at your course syllabus. Textbooks are the decision of the instructor. Very important. I want to tell you something else that's important at this point. While you're considering a future with Texas State and while you're looking at later on, I want to tell you about the career services here at Texas State. We have career services. They can help you with current or future employment. You can check with them at the Texas State University website. Look under that information and see what career services has for you. The name may change over the months or years, but it's always a good service that you may want to look into because they bring interviewers to the main campus. They have many types of employers that do come to campus. So as you're preparing to get through this degree and to graduate with a BAAS degree, you should also plan to deal with the issue of the Texas State University Career Services. They have a lot of good things they can do to help you. Another thing is that as a working adult, you have problems sometimes with funding, unless you're independently rich and you're running around wealthy here. So we will ask you to donate if you are. So continue to check for potential scholarships. You can check that on the OCED website as well as the university website. Look for scholarships. You say, oh, I don't think I qualify for all that. I don't think they're going to give me a scholarship. Well, obviously they're not unless you apply. Many times scholarships may have only a few applicants. Your key here is to go ahead and apply and try it. A lot of the applications may be similar, so if you've done a good resume, you've written up some things, you've talked to people about references, go with it. But don't give up because you do not have the funding. That's the key in this course, is to get on target, as we said. Assess your strengths, your weaknesses, and go forward. Go forward and move ahead. Move ahead. So that's important. I want to conclude session 1 and by some remarks. One of the things is I want you to set a viewing schedule each week for these presentations and keep up with the assignments. If you get behind on assignments, the problem that we run into is that you can get to a point that you are so far behind that you're struggling. We need you to watch these presentations. Go back and rewind if you need more information back on the degree plan, as we discussed in Lesson 1 today. Go back and look at that and see what you think, what you need to do. Remember, this is an independent type study course here with these presentations. So you need to gather all this material up and study it. But I appreciate being able to help you through this, and I appreciate your attention to Session 1. I would urge you to go back again and review Session 1 if you have any additional questions. Thank you again for viewing Session 1.